You're listening to Wellbeing Connection, the CMHA Manitoba and Winnipeg podcast. I'm your host, James Wellsman.
The Canadian Mental Health Association, Manitoba and Winnipeg, wishes to acknowledge that we are gathered in Treaty 1 territory at the crossroads of the Anishinaabe, Métis, Cree, Dakota, Ojibwe nations, and on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe peoples and the homeland of the Métis Nation.
None of the content in this podcast is intended to replace the advice given to you by your medical team. If you are in crisis, please phone the Manitoba Suicide Prevention and Support Line at 1-877-435-7170 or text CONNECT to 686868 for the Kids Help Phone.
Welcome to Wellbeing Connection. I am Stephen Sutherland. I am a program director here at CMHA Manitoba and Winnipeg. My colleague James, who usually hosts this, is away this week, and so I get the privilege of hosting this podcast for you, the listeners, and really excited about continuing the conversation of youth mental health and addictions and recovery and all the things that we do here at the CMHA, but also with the courageous participants who engage in our services, but also something that might be new to our audience, which is the integrated youth hub model. And so we know for the last number of weeks, we've been really following Brandon and that 3:30 ride, and it was an epic ride. It was so great to be a part of it. Money continues to be coming in through Donor Drive, which is, ridedon'thide.com/Manitoba. The month of July, all the money that's being raised is going directly to support this amazing new service that we get to lead as a lead agency, but with an incredible amount of support from the collective community. And so today I have one of our most new managers here at CMHA Manitoba Winnipeg. We have Levi Labelle, who's the manager of Youth Hubs. And Levi, we are just thrilled to have you here at CMHA. Maybe just talk a little bit about what brought you to CMHA, why an integrated youth hub is an interest of yours, and let's get the conversation started.
Yeah, thank you. Those are some really excellent questions, and there's some big questions. Part of the reason I came to the Canadian Mental Health Association is that, I have a really deep desire to work with youth. I have been working with youth since I was a youth myself, and I have, experienced firsthand, what some of the challenges are that, many of the folks who will be accessing our services are going through, but also what it looks like to advocate and provide those services for youth. So it excites me a lot that, I'm going to be able to be a part of this exciting new youth hub facility and be a part of the youth hubs movement here in Manitoba. So we are going to be creating a number of youth hubs across the province. We are going to be located specifically in the Downtown West Broadway area to serve inner city youth. And yeah, I couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of that team.
Well, Levi, people can't see what you look like, but, it looks like you're a youth yourself, you can't be any older than 20. No, kidding. You have such a youthfulness, an approach about you that really wants this space to be incredibly inclusive. Maybe you can talk about why that's important to you and why would that be important to an integrated youth hub model?
Inclusion is sort of the foundation of everything that I do. It is a core belief of mine that we need to ensure that everybody who has a voice, has has the ability to use that voice and to really advocate for themselves. I've been a youth, and I've felt that feeling of voicelessness, and I know how hard that can be. And so, wherever I can, I think it's important that we provide opportunities for all youth to be able to show up, no matter where they're from or what they look like or who they love. And so that is a foundational principle that I've been bringing to this project, particularly, in light of the last few years. I think truth and reconciliation are important principles that we also need to bring forward. There's always an evolving atmosphere of inclusion as we are, increasing our understanding of how to include more of those voices at the table. And so I think, the Youth Hub is a really exciting venue for us to bring all those youth together, whether that is, through recreational activities, support groups and networks, or, our advisory committees that I know we'll talk about a little later.
Yeah, no, I think, as we began this process of considering leading a youth hub along with some partners, we really wanted to engage with youth and families who are going to use the service to hear from them of what is necessary, what is the barriers, what are the gaps in the service delivery that you want as an individual. And I imagine the people that we're going to be serving in the West Broadway community are a bit different in terms of the needs that most will go to, like, their own clinic in their neighborhood. Why would it be important for youth to have a space that they can call them their own?
We've all, regardless of our age, we've all become really used to experiencing services that are very directed at us. And whether that's, going to our family doctor, our clinic, and having the experts tell us, what to do, and us just having to follow it. Very rarely have we, I think many of us have had the experience where people have asked us, what would you like to do? What is best for you? And, I think most of us know inherently that we are the experts of our own lives. We're the experts of our experience. And so that is what this Youth Hub model really is. It's about, asking youth to be those experts, right? To bring the expertise that's part of their life and to really direct and determine what services they need and how they're going to, benefit them in their life. And so, I think it's our job to show up and to, have that buffet of services, right? So that they can make those choices. I think choice is, foundational. It's fundamental to empowerment. We can't be empowered without the ability to choose.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think this idea of, like, sharing information and being able to navigate systems that are often very complex, confusing. A lot of people just give up. They go to a place, they go to that kind of what I call that rejection desk, right? So it's supposed to be like this very welcoming, environment. And they just really feel like they don't belong. They're told to go somewhere else. People come in with all their belongings, and immediately someone thinks that this person's unsafe. So a lot of assumptions about folks that may be using our youth hub, but also this collaboration amongst people that we call our core partners. Why is that so important? Why is it so important for an integrated youth hub model to have those partnerships on site?
Well, it's kind of, I think, been a dream of many frontline service workers that, the folks that we serve and the folks that we are there to support could go to one place and in one-stop shop literally get services in everything that they need. And so that is really what the Youth Hub model is. It is that one-stop shop. But, that, of course, requires services to come together and really collaborate in ways to find how their services can come together, can link together, create new things, and really work in synchronicity. Which is not something that, many service providers may have experienced before. I think we are all used to being very specialized in what we do. And, we become the experts in what we do. And, maybe we'll make a referral, but this requires a much more deeper engagement where we really have to take that referral to the next level. It's not just about saying, hey, can you help this person? It's like, hey, we're working together with this person. How can we best work with them, and what do they want from us, right? What do they expect us to bring to the table for them? And having those collaborative communal conversations really does change what that service can look like.
Absolutely. For those that are just joining us again, we're here with Levi Labelle. He's the manager of the Youth Hub, the West Broadway Youth Hub that will open in the fall of 2021. Really excited to have Levi with us. Levi, I know that you have a background in supporting youth and your passion for youth, but you also have a passion in working with newcomers, and maybe talk about why that is, where did that come from, and how does the newcomer population of Winnipeg connect with this integrated youth hub model?
I stumbled into settlement services quite by accident, actually, and discovered that I had a real passion for working with the newcomer population of Winnipeg. Newcomers, the joy of working with newcomers is indescribable, because they're really learning and experiencing Canada and all that we have to offer in new ways every day. And of course, that brings with it, many challenges as well. So it's always very exciting to see where it's going to go. And everyone comes from somewhere different, and I get to learn from them as much as they're learning about Canada. And so, it's very exciting that we all get to learn together. I know I keep saying that everything is exciting.
The amount of excitement when we talk about youth hubs, not only in this building at 930 Portage Avenue, but with all those virtual calls or those meetings that you're having outside what we do here at 930, people are really getting involved and are really interested. Why do you think that is?
It's because we all know that, one of the biggest barriers to accessing services is location. It's location, transportation, and if we can eliminate that barrier, think of all the benefits that it will have for someone who is experiencing multiple challenges, to go to one place. No one ever just presents with a mental health issue, right? No one ever just presents with a need for employment. You don't just need a job, right? You may need a job because, maybe your housing is at risk. And so you need assistance with your housing. And, you need a job because you don't have any money. Well, maybe there's some financial pieces around that need to support. Maybe you don't have access to food, right? So that could be another avenue of support, and underlying all of those things, we could have trauma, mental health issues, physical health issues, family issues. Like, all of these things work together all the time. And they, as much as our programs and and the organizations that we're working with have all, kind of worked in their specialties, right? We know that the people that we're working with are going to be working with multiple agencies, and they're going to have to travel from place to place to place and manage appointment after appointment after appointment. And many times they're repeating the same information. They're re-traumatizing themselves in some cases when they have to tell those stories over and over again. And imagine if they could do that just once.
Yeah. And I think of, what can people expect when they walk through the doors of the West Broadway Youth Hub? How do you envision that?
I know we're really talking about the design of the space right now in a lot of ways, and we're waiting for construction. But for me, when I talk about the Youth Hub, I talk about how it's going to feel, because I think, just youth in particular, but all of us, we really make decisions based on how something feels, and we vote with our feet. Right? If some place doesn't feel welcoming, we're not going to stay there. And when I think of, the very broad demographic of youth that we are going to be working with in the Downtown West Broadway Youth Hub, we're going to be working with newcomers. We're going to be working with, folks with an Indigenous cultural background. We're going to be working with folks who may be street involved or living with addictions or disabilities. And so there's going to be a very wide range of folks who are going to be coming to this hub. And my vision is really to have it be welcoming to everyone. I want everyone to feel like this space is for them, that the space and the people there are welcoming them in a way that they want to be welcomed. And that's a tall task. It's a very tall task.
It sure is. Yeah,
we're up to that challenge, and I know that we're currently talking about how we can design the space to help us to do that welcoming, right? Whether through signage and art and even where walls are, and so and what the floor looks like. So I hope that when people walk through those doors, it's going to feel like home.
Mm. Yeah, that's really great. That, and as I look at the drawings, and as we work with construction and architects, that was a resounding response from our core folks who are partners, but also those who will access it. So those that are on that advisory council, for youth and for families. Those that I identify Indigenous, I think bringing those folks together to really give you and your team and the extended team, which is beautiful, right? Isn't it wonderful to have an extended team? Really the information that's necessary to do that programming. So we often hear and ask, get asked all the time. So what can people expect? What's programming going to look like? What are the hours, Levi? Tell me all the things that that are going to be included in the Youth Hub, and you say,
I don't know. And that can be really hard for people to hear. What do you mean? You're building a building, you're creating a service, and you don't know what it is. But we do really know what it is. We know that it is youth-led, and that youth are going to be helping us to determine what that bundle of services are that are going to be available. And then that is going to change over time as youth, come and go, as youth provide us with input and say, this is really important to me and my community right now. Then we're going to focus on those things. And maybe that won't always be the case, and we'll focus on something new, right? So it is going to be a constantly evolving space with constantly evolving programming. We do know that we are inviting our partners to provide some sort of basic services as a foundation to get us started. But whether that's the same services that are going to be there 6 months from now, that's going to be determined by the youth who use this space.
So it really does sound like this co-designed, co-produced model that we use every day here at 930 Portage Avenue and in all our other satellite sites, working with adult literacy, working with folks in Selkirk, with housing, with mental health and addiction needs. The reality is things will evolve and things will change. And it sounds like an integrated youth hub really has the pulse on those changes. And would I be safe to say, is that because of this, the idea of this being youth and family led?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you hit the nail on the head, right? That this is, perhaps the ultimate in co-production, right? Normally when we speak of co-production, we're talking about how people who are experts by profession come together with people who have expertise because they've lived their lives, with an understanding of something, and they come together. They create a course or a program. This is the ultimate in co-production because we are bringing all those same people together, but now instead of just a course, we're talking about a building. We're talking about multiple levels of programming, and we're talking about the feeling, right? And they're co-producing that feeling that people have just in walking into a space. And so I think, yes, like the reason that this is going to be so flexible is absolutely because of the youth. This couldn't be done without them.
These are services that we're hearing directly that are necessary, needed, not only from youth and families, but from partners. And I think of schools. I think of the schools in the area. I think of the clinicians, the teachers, the educators, the administrators, the students who are attending. How do you see schools and that whole community engaged in youth hubs?
Yeah, so, schools are a really great sort of conduit for conversation, I think. The teachers and resource folk and administrators are really, facilitators of conversations sometimes. And it's through them that a lot of the needs of a community are shared, right? Either within the school itself, but also back out from the school to the community at large. And so I'm really excited that we are going to be able to work with a number of the schools in the area. Gordon Bell is just down the street. There are neighbors. We're also, very close to DMCI and to, Grant Park and a number of other schools. And all of those schools have truly amazing staff who are in conversation with youth every day. And through those conversations, they hear, what is important to youth, and they can relay that. But also they can let youth know that this service exists and that they're welcome to come in and provide their input directly, right? So they're going to be an instrumental part of how that conversation continues to evolve.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's going to be something for everyone, and in the not so likely case that there isn't that for that person, it sounds like the referral, the resources are robust in being able to navigate that. And I imagine you have some key staff that are going to be a part of your team. Maybe talk about your team, your kind of core team of salaried kind of positions. And maybe, kind of give us an idea of some of the other folks that might be involved or they are involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the two sort of staffing areas that we're hiring for right now, we're looking for someone who's going to take on some of those clinical counseling leadership, really. And so this is going to be a person who is going to get to know you and is going to get to know what your needs are and is going to be able to help to direct you to other services within the hub, help you to get the right referrals at the right time, and is really going to be there to, walk with you as you go to these places, right? So you're never going to feel like you're alone in accessing a service. That's what this person is going to do. They're going to be that person who, if you come to the hub and you had a meeting with someone and say that counselor or that worker is away for some reason, this person is going to, still be able to meet with you, right? And still going to be able to help to, meet your needs. So they're going to be pivotal to the functioning of the hub. The other position that we're looking at are peer facilitators, and so these are youth. They are youth who have a wealth of experience that they are bringing to the hub, and are going to share some of those experiences with the people who are coming in the front door, right? And just providing that safe space where people can share what's going on for them and know that the person who they're talking to knows what that's like. Mm-hmm. That is so important, I think, in, truly feeling safe to access services.
Absolutely.
It's just knowing that you're being heard and that the person understands you.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of peer support, the work that we do at the CMHA, our partners who embody that model of people with living experience or expertise that we say often, being able to be there in the front lines. Those are the individuals who are welcoming people in, not dinosaurs like myself, wearing a bow tie. It's like, I want someone who kind of resembles, what my potential need is in this moment. And every day is going to look different. And I know that we're raising funds, and for our listening audience, they've been going to ridedon'thide.com/Manitoba. And I know I mentioned in the beginning of the segment that we are, raising money this first half of July for computers. Well, friends, it has been great being with you at this 9th episode of Wellbeing Connection. We look forward to hearing some feedback, for people to really engage with Levi and his team and the work that is happening right down the street from us, which is super exciting. And Levi, we look forward to extending this conversation next time. Thank you so much.